Call this meeting to order, Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, 7 p.m., City of Somerton Regular Council Meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Gerardo Anaya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Jesus Roldan,
Present.
Luis Galindo, Councilmember Miguel Villalpando,
Present.
Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Martha Gonzalez, Councilmember Lorena Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're gonna move on, call to the public. There's no one for the public. There's no items in consent agenda. We have two proclamations, one Bike Month and the other National Business Week. We're gonna start with Bike Month.
Whereas bicycles are an economical, healthy, convenient, environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent tool for recreation and enjoyment of Somerton's scenic beauty. And whereas throughout the month of May, the residents of Somerton and its visitors will experience the joys of bicycling through educational programs, races, commuting events, charity events, or by simply getting out and going for a ride. And whereas Somerton's roads, trail systems, and multi-use pathways attract bicyclists each year, providing economic health, transportation, tourism, and scenic benefits. And whereas creating a bicycling-friendly community has been shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and quality of life, growing the economy of Somerton, attracting tourism dollars, improving traffic safety, supporting student learning outcomes, and reducing pollution, congestion, and wear and tear of our streets and roads. And whereas the Yuma Region Bicycle Coalition, Yuma Visitors Bureau, DVA Visit Yuma, Yuma Metropolitan Planning Organization, the League of American Bicyclists, schools, parks and recreation departments, police departments, public health districts, hospitals, companies, and civic groups believe in the benefit of bicycling. And whereas these groups are also promoting bicycle tourism year-round to attract more visitors to enjoy our local restaurants, hotels, retail establishments, cultural and scenic attractions. And whereas these groups are also promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation and safety education in an effort to reduce collisions, injuries, and fatalities and improve health and safety for everyone on the road. And now, therefore, I, Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, proclaim May 2023 as Bike Month in the Somerton and urge all citizens to join me in this special observance.
Thank you. The second proclamation is National Business Week. Small Business Week.
Whereas the City of Somerton recognizes and values the dedication and entrepreneurial spirit within our community. And whereas small businesses are the backbone of the City of Somerton's economy. And whereas small businesses keep our community, our state, and our country's economy growing strong. And whereas the President of the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs through the U.S. Small Business Administration and other government agencies. And whereas the City of Somerton supports and joins in this national effort to help America's small businesses do what they do best, grow their business, create jobs, and ensure that our local communities remain as vibrant tomorrow as they are today. And now, therefore, I, Mayor Gerardo Anaya, Mayor of the City of Somerton, proclaim April 30th to May 6th, 2023 as National Small Business Week. During this week, I encourage all residents and visitors to shop locally at the City of Somerton.
I'm gonna invite Mary Carmen Lopez to come and receive the proclamation. Take a picture.
Mayor and council.
So I really want to say thank you on behalf of our staff, the Small Business Development Center at the Arizona Western College Downtown Center. Our director is Crystal Mendoza. I am one of the business counselors, Mari Carmen Lopez. We currently have another one part-time student from Arizona Western College and another part-time business analyst. So we are expanding our services to the community. We see the need of attending our communities to do one-on-one with our clients. So this is what we do. So I wanted to give you a quick overview of what we're doing. The SBDC services, we're all over. It's America's SBDC. This is an SBA program that it's here to educate the business community and entrepreneurs. Our counselings are no fee. We do provide trainings. Not too long ago, we provided a training here. And that's the point. We want them to engage with us, with the cities, so that they can see they're here to assist them. Most of our counselors are bilingual, so that it's a plus since we serve all La Paz and Yuma County. And our services are no cost, like I mentioned, and you can go to the arizonasbdc.net and people can register for the one-on-one services. We provide some of the resources that we have. SBA pays for those so that we are able to provide them to our clients. And these are tools, like let's say they want to do financial planning. We use some of these tools to help them. They're ready for banking when they're ready to ask for a loan. So what do we do when clients come to us? These are some of the services that we can provide to them. If somebody wants to become government contracted, then we can definitely assist them with the paperwork that they needs to be done in order to make that, dream that they have as a reality. There's all these topics that we mentioned here. We are not CPAs, we're not attorneys, but we have a general idea. Most of us own our own businesses. I personally worked for a law firm for 20 years here in Yuma, and I had my own businesses. So I know the struggles and how expensive it could be when you start a business. So to have this services at no cost, it's great because now we directly to the government sites when people can get their businesses and licenses. So usually a counseling service, we sit with each person. We want to build a relationship with those businesses. So we don't only meet just once, there might be different needs that they may have. So again, they can see us as many times as they need to. This is a great campaign that we did. Vanessa assisted us on the team of economic development. We started in October and it was a great success. Your city, I'm very proud of your city because I can see how you guys took initiative, went to each individual businesses and let them know we were coming. That way they don't think, oh, your government's coming to us. What did we do wrong? Do we owe any taxes? So no, we're here to support you. So this campaign went really well. So I'm very happy to partner with you guys and assist so that we can start helping those entrepreneurs in different ways that they might need it. We are also launching this Moonshot event. If some of you guys heard about the Shark Tank program, this is the first time that it's coming to Arizona. So this is going to be a competition where the businesses or entrepreneurs want to talk about their business idea. And we're going to have some of the city officials be some of the ones that are going to give them advice and to make them think, is this doable? Is this going to be profitable? So this is the registrations. If you guys know, if you guys want to start your own business, as a site as well, you're welcome to sign in. There's cash prizes, there's Chamber of Commerce prizes. So we're going to start this in the month of May 4th. The final pitch will be June 3rd. So if you guys know anybody, they can reach out to us. And we are, again, mentioned in La Paz and Yuma. We are at the Yuma Main Library. We are in Somerton once a month, Welton once a month, San Luis Library every other Thursday, AWC Main Campus, In the town of Parker, we go quarterly. And these are our social media where we usually post any grants that are happening, any events that are happening within the SBDC and other communities. So you guys are welcome to, attend any of them. Again, there are no costs. And one suggestion that we had from Marlene when I spoke to her the last time, she mentioned that after a presentation that we should do some kind of a survey or feedback from the businesses in the community. What do they want to hear about? What do they feel they need to work on? So our next presentation will be in July. So right now we're working on talking to some of your businesses to see what they want to hear about in the future. And we just did that with Startup Unidos last, like I mentioned a few weeks ago. It was about marketing. We had a few people here. I see the great ideas that they have. So far, we have one contestant for the moonshot from Somerton sign up. So my goal, or our goal as a team at SBDC, is to have a business from each city participate in the moonshot event. So I think it would be great. But thank you again for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for providing that service to our residents. We have two presentations. The first one is a presentation on billing and collection activities from Somerton Cocopah Fire Department Ambulance Services.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. We're just doing a quick presentation on this, an update on the billing for the Somerton Cocopah Fire Department. Yeah, they put this report together. For January to December of 2021, when we had the little incident of the billing issues, only 30% of the 1,282 incidents were billed and 70% was not billed. Out of the 30%, 505,000 was actually submitted in claims. Now, we don't collect 100%, but of that amount, 149,000 was actually collected. So that was a 30% rate. Of the amount that was not collected, and if we say that we were collecting 30%, that's a loss of $387,000. Yade and Anida are still working on going back and trying to submit some of those claims, but once again, there's trying to catch up, so it's going to be some time before they can actually go back and start doing some of those paths. The other slide, that's the one that I presented to you on Saturday, and that's just a report of our Regional Center for Border Health. Regional Center for Border Health, if we look into the numbers, they collected for us 31%. Prior to, we brought Cheryl back and she helped us for some of the 2021, and that collection there, the 153,000, that was a 53% collection rate. Once again, that's what the Regional Center for Border Health did for us. So we were able to get that January to June of 2022. And the next slide, that's currently what the idea is doing. Out of 996 incidents, the ones that are insured are 85%, and then the non-insured are 15%. Out of that, they have made a 1,188,000, and so far they've been reimbursed 529,000. So that's a rate of about 45%. They did some research and found out that some of the other Yuma County areas, one agency is collecting 53%, the other one is collecting 66%, and then the other one is 61. So at 45%, I think we're doing a good job, especially they coming aboard and not knowing nothing about billing and starting a program from zero. She's been doing an excellent job. Right now it's Yade, and she has a part-time help of one other person. We have an open payment plan of 14,575, and that's just some people that have to meet up their deductible. And she separated that because that's different from the collection that we're receiving from Medicare. Yes, Councilman Galindo.
You mentioned I didn't know anything about this. Are you guys doing anything to send it to get some coding?
Yes.
Education on coding?
So what I meant when she came on board, we hired her, and part of the deal with the Regional Center for Border Health was for her training. She has attended the conference. She has become a certified coder, right? That's yeah, ambulance coder. Yes. So she is getting the training. She's been networking with some of the staff from San Luis and some other agencies. And then, like I said, we brought Anaida aboard. She used to do billing for Yuma Regional Medical Center. So once again, they're combining the expertise and coming up how to do this better. One of the things that we want to do, and I've been working with Rosa, it's getting them that software through Image Train, which will be able for them to do their job a little bit easier. Because right now, the way they're doing it, they're doing like 3 different steps. And with that, because we already use Image Train as our EMS reporting, they'll be able to just download the information and it'll be kind of like 2 steps. So it'll make the process a little bit easier for them. So do we have any questions on the billing?
Mayor, if I may. Mayor, if I may. Chief, a while back, we went to 2 ambulances versus 1.
Correct.
Have you compared the billing amounts from when we were running 1 ambulance versus 2? And also, would you happen to have the information on how much each ambulance is actually generating? And by that, I mean, how much of this pay rate is for what ambulance? The reason I'm asking is because each ambulance is going to cost us X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
So we were supposed to analyze prior to you whether it was cost efficient to have that second ambulance or not. And quite honestly, those are still, that is still something that at least I would like to know whether we go back to 1 ambulance or we stay with 2. Because if it's not cost effective, then why should we run in the red when we could use that funding elsewhere?
Okay, I don't have that answer for that, Mr. Villapando. We'll work on it, but on the retreat, I did provide in numbers where I was showing the stats for ambulance number 1 and ambulance number 2, the number of transports that they had both done to the hospital. But to give you a fair amount, I don't have that with me.
Yeah,
And I'm not
but
sure if that's something we can work. We can, okay. So we'll get that
quite honestly,
information.
I didn't expect you to have it, but I
Okay.
did need to ask that question. So that way you could probably provide us that information, and that way we can analyze that particular portion, because even though 45% collection rate is pretty good, we're still missing out on 55. So when we look at our budget, I rather work off the collection rate versus our billing rate, because what's going to happen with the other 55? We're going to probably send them to collections, and who knows whether they'll pay or not.
Mhm.
Or we'll end up writing it off or something. So I would like to analyze this for myself based on the actual collection rate.
And part of that amount we have to write off because like I said, Medicare does not reimburse us 100%. It's only a certain percentage, so.
Mhm.
But yes, we'll get that information to you and provide it to Mr. Galaviz for another presentation.
And you know what, when you present that what's been written off, let us know that it's based because of the Medicare limits. So that way we know that it's not because people aren't basically not paying their bills. It's just a write-off due to not being able to collect for the full amount.
Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions or comments?
Mayor, if I may.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. I also wanted to mention that the chief and I have been talking about this revenue that we're going to be looking at, and I know that Yadel Sanchez is working very hard to get to a higher percentage of, and we've been offering opportunities for her to be trained to be able to do that, to increase that, because we do want to base it on the revenues coming in, not what we write off. And part of that will be how we can incorporate a replacement program for the equipment and those types of things into this. So that way it's not an impact on the general fund, that we have a savings or allocations are made in the future. So that's something that the chief and I have been talking about, just to let you know.
Yeah, the way I see it, right now we are understaffed and we're barely trying to keep up with the current billings that we have. And you did mention that we're going to try to collect, but being, our staffing level. So I think we should look at, a plan, either approaching some of the other agencies for the, if we can try to collect those, because the more that we don't go back, then we're never gonna receive anything on that. And plus, as you said, right now, the staff is new, they're just started, so I just see it very difficult, us going back with the current staffing that we have. So maybe we should start looking at, like I said, approaching some of the other agencies and see if we can try to collect those monies that were never collected a year ago or 2 years ago.
It's only been a year,
A year.
just 1 year, yeah, 2021.
And what's the status of the audit that?
Carmen?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. The audit was completed, and the administrator will forward a copy of it to all of you.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, Mayor, if I may, that was a finding of the ambulance building, of course. But we have, we've provided a response. But one of the things that the plan is to have either quarterly or every 6 months, provide an update to Mayor and Council for now, so that you can see what's going on with that program and making sure that those checks and balances are in place, so that this doesn't happen again. But a lot of those, the billings that are a little bit, older, the only concern is we're still going to bill them. And I think Yadel and Anita are working on those. The only challenge is going to be there is they're going to time out, where we're not going to be, even if we bill them, they might come back and say, yeah, great, but the years passed and they've timed out. And
That's why I commented, is it even worth going through, when they're trying to keep up with the current billing? So that's probably, let's come up with a plan that, to help them out, instead of us spending resources and trying to, and then falling back behind. Well,
And I think they've done a great job of doing that. And I think it's going to be possible that we do that now that they're caught up, and especially with, help from, regional center. So you should see the difference, and I think little by little they're catching up, but they're going to be, to my understanding, and Yadel, if you correct me if I'm wrong, they're staying on track with the billing.
So the way they're doing it right now, at the end of the month, by the 15th, they already have billed for all that other past month. So for before May 15th, correct? Yeah. Of April. So we are cut up. We're not behind. And then also I forgot to mention, we have worked with protocols for check and balances. So now the way we do it is where in the computer, I first submit to them the reports. She does her part, and then she'll send me a report. And then I'm the one that goes back into the computer and change it as billed. Whereas before, the builder would all do that on herself. And that's where we had some of the issues. But now, like I said, we made some protocols, and we're both working together where we're double checking that it's getting done.
and is it just the fire department, or does it also go through finance?
So right now, for the billing, it's just going through Yade, myself. And then I'm not sure how she's reporting to.
So one of the exercises I kind of do is that I pull a report and I look at our balance sheet, our accounts receivable account, to see how much revenue we've billed for. And I kind of look for little gaps to see if, say that we're running a huge shortfall in 1 month and it's huge this month, and kind of evaluate the data to see if it's reasonable. And to add to our previous conversation, we're going to try and do our due diligence as a city and collect as much revenue as we can. But there are many challenges because of when these ambulance incidents took place. They took
please keep in mind during the pandemic and the different demographics that we serve, that particularly like Javier had mentioned, qualify for Medicare, Medicaid, and access, and the state has only given us a capped amount where we're having to write off the remainder. We're asking other agencies and looking for grant funding opportunities to offset these losses. And these are projects where we're kind of working on right now currently. Any questions?
No. Questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Mayor, Council? Yes.
Councilwoman Delgado?
Chief, I know that there was a deadline or a cap for FEMA. So that means that we're taking the loss for those bills, right?
For the 2021 year?
Yeah. The ones that you have, I can't see because I can't put it down, but the ones for the billing for, can you move it down? Yeah, for the $1 million, right? Those are the ones that went to FEMA, right?
No, those are the ones that weren't
That were
being
not.
charged, that weren't being processed with the previous administration.
But those are already at loss.
They're gonna try to collect. that,
We're gonna
but
try
Because
to,
there was a cutoff date.
but I think I'm not understanding with FEMA.
These are for the general population, not for
The,
any FEMA.
Yeah, nothing for migrants or nothing like that.
okay, thank you. That's all I wanted.
Yes.
Mayor, if I may, I would like to call you. So it's just up to, so, I'd like to recognize her, if you come to the front.
I thought you were gonna make her speak. I'm like, come on, don't do that to her.
She's a very good speaker. She's done several presentations, but I just want to recognize Adela. She's really stepped up when we needed this program to support and really took it on and was very open about taking the training certifications. And she's been, her and Adela have been really working at this. And so, I just want to thank you personally and because it has been a big benefit for us. So thank you for stepping up.
Thank you. Thank you.
No other questions?
No, just thank you for the report, the way it's set up. It really makes it really provides that visual on, on all the areas of opportunities that, should have been fixed, prior to you guys.
Once again, I did the report. I thought it was excellent when she presented it to me. It's like, wow. Thank you.
Thank you. The second presentation is discussion on assessing one-time mailbox unit cost.
Mayor, council members, just wanted to bring this back to you. The discussion had been for the subdivisions that were, the new subdivisions in Somerton was to provide cluster boxes, mailboxes to those residents. And so we worked on a report to present to you tonight and see what your direction would be. One of the options, of course, is providing this service to the residents. We had a cost, as you can see on the agenda item of the breakdown, and it was about $137.87 per box. And so we come to you tonight. If you would like to recommend that we move forward with the fee or any other direction you would like for us when we provide these mailboxes. So I would ask, open it for discussion of what your thoughts or any ideas that you might have on how to move forward. If there is a fee, then there's, I believe, speaking with legal, there's a process that we'd have to make the residents aware. But again, just wanted to kind of share this with you. These boxes are ready to go. The keys are there, the locks are there. This is the last part of this process would be for subdivision by Valle Del Sol 3 and 4, correct? Yes.
Any comments? What was the initial thought when we, did we have this money budgeted?
To my understanding, no, this was something that the city was working on previously, trying to get postal service to the local residents without, we had heard concerns about, the mailboxes, not enough mailboxes, and so forth. I know there's also, the other Valle del Sol 1 and 2 that we're working at doing the same thing. But that hasn't, we're still working with the postmaster here in Somerton on that. But these have been approved. Past conversations was really just providing the service and just having that conversation with you tonight. If you would like to charge a fee or what amount of fee, if we want to move forward, then there is a process. You always have the option to do something else if you'd like.
Because we did discuss this and there was an amount budgeted under, I want to say, under economic development, or there was.
Yeah, it was
something like
about 40,000.
40,000, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So the intent was for the city to purchase, right? And I don't know what the level of effort would be to recover that funding. I don't know if it's even, since it was budgeted, and I don't, at least for me, it would be this 2 pilots, the subdivisions, city pays it, but then for new development, we gotta ensure that we collect that. We somehow capture that in the new development and whatever it is. And because just to go back to the residents, and that's something that, yeah, residents have asked, but those residents from those subdivision ask, and are we gonna just impose that? Which it is a service, but they didn't ask for it. So I don't know. I just feel it's cleaner to just see, we install it, and then, but moving forward for new development, the new development has to pay for it.
And Mayor,
think
if I
that's
may,
fine.
we have, that isn't gonna, we have a new subdivision updates coming, but there is something already in place so that any new subdivisions, the developer will provide this.
Condition or.
It's a condition, correct? And so that is in place for any new development. Saul, if you want to.
I have- Mayor, before Saul starts, I do
Oh.
have a question.
Yes.
Out of those subdivisions that we're planning to put boxes, do we know exactly how many boxes are needed for those subdivisions?
So
The reason I'm asking is because you got to look at it from a long-term perspective too, maintenance, repair, on all, if they damage them, who's going to pay for it? So it could potentially be an ongoing cost. So it's, we might consider a small fee, not to recoup the cost, but obviously, save some money to potentially repair some of these. But
So-
back to my question. do
So we
know how
would
many
own
boxes?
those boxes?
So they would, it's a little bit tricky, but the way it works with the post office, we own the boxes. That's their responsibility, their property. But if they are damaged, or for example, worst case scenario, car runs into them, takes them out, the city would be responsible for replacing those. Yes. One of the things in Saul, I don't know if you'll hit on is maybe looking at as part of the assessment district, being able to assess something there. So
to touch on some of the points that have been discussed lately. And when I say lately, I mean going back about a year or two. The city has been requiring all new subdivisions to, one, dedicate a USPS easement on, typically on the retention basin. This is to accommodate a CBU box. And also, we have been asking the developer to install the CBU box as part of the subdivision improvements on the last two subdivisions that have been approved, namely Valle del Sol, Somerton 1898 and the Max subdivision. So those were the first two that we are requiring the developer to install it as part of the improvements. This isn't at the moment part of a city code. It's more a practice that's in place in our neighboring municipalities. So the developers are used to this already, but we've started implementing, and it will be codified into our upcoming subdivision code later this year. And to touch on what Louis was saying about who owns it, who owns the box? Well, technically, if they are placed on a city property, it's kind of a gray area of whether the post office or the city owns it, but someone has to maintain it. So it would be a good idea, I think, to include the cost of perhaps maintenance and repairs as part of the improvement district for that subdivision, for the retention basin, for example. We'll just adjust it to cover that CBU box. So there are ways, I think, feasible ways in which we could repair and maintain those CBU boxes. But they are a huge convenience to the residents by just having to walk up to their mailbox instead of having to go to the post office, I think.
They don't own the box. Councilman Galindo.
Yes, I live on the golf course and we get our mail by. And I remember one time our key didn't work and we just went to the post office, they came and replaced it. So, and that maintenance, usually the post office will take care of that. We just that work because of the dirt, the dust, whatever. And I don't know, on the golf course, it doesn't belong to the city, it belongs to that very dirt. Oh, right there. It doesn't belong to the city.
But they have their own conditions.
Councilmember Galindo, I'm actually unfamiliar with the setup at the golf course. Is it a CBU box or is it straight to the home? CBU box, okay. Well, it's on the city right of way.
There's a homeowners.
Correct.
And I do, and I agree with you, council member, that you know, the post office usually does take the lead on remedying those issues, like you said, a faulty key or a faulty lock. I don't know if it's the same cost as when you last had it done, right? In Yuma, I have a CBU box as well, and the post office in Yuma charged me, I want to say something like $30 for the replacement to fix it. But I guess it may depend to on the postmaster or the post office. But these are all things we can find out. We actually have a very good communication right now with the local the interim postmaster. So we should take advantage of that and just try to work these things out.
Yeah, I have the same concern that Councilman Villalpando has it, you know, what happens? So what do other entities do? Are they charging a fee or what is, we have to, probably something that we can look at.
Yes, Mayor, we can definitely look into that, and I think that's up to the post office, see what fees they charge, not the actual city itself, but we can definitely look into that.
At our work, we have, 84 units and we have to provide a box for them. And post office comes and change the locks. They come and do their payment. $6 if they lose the key. $8 if they have to change a lock or get an extra key. So most of the maintenance is done by the post office. Unless, there's an accident or something happens, then yeah, we'll replace it. But other than that, everything is done by the postal service.
Councilman Castillo?
Looking at the information, I mean, we're looking at just a one-time fee of $96.51 per unit, right?
That is correct.
So to me, this, I mean, it's a benefit for those residents. They have that convenience. I know we don't have, there's a waiting list for the boxes here.
Yes.
I think there could also be ways where we could do payment plans where, I don't know, maybe it could be added on their water bill, maybe in increments of $5 a month. I don't know if that would be,
We look for your direction, council member. And those all are our options that we can look at, if you'd like to move that way. Again, just to reiterate, the boxes, if they're damaged, the city would be responsible for fixing them. But the keys and those types of things, yes, they would work with the post office. The post office is the one that gives them the key, because when you actually open the box, it becomes, a federal property because there's mail. But the actual structure itself, if it gets damaged, that would be something that the city would have to take on. I've had conversations with both postmasters in San Luis and here in Somerton. And what they require is that it's ADA compliant. There's some lighting and accessible. And that's about it. They'll deliver the mail, they'll provide the keys. After that, if it gets damaged, they're not going to deliver the mail to a non-secured area. So that is something that they would look for the city to fix before they deliver mail again. So that is what, the postmasters are telling or told me. So.
I mean, I would be okay with, and I see that we would only be recommending, staff recommend 70% of the cost, so I mean, it's just a one-time thing, and there's ways that can be worked out, so.
I'm sorry, Mario.
It's not gonna be a lot of legalities, a lot of advertisement, public
So
hearings.
for any
like,
new,
we're already stretched thin. I don't know if we wanna, well, and if we do, we start collecting, then can we set up like an account for, in case, like a mailbox account, something?
Yes, Mayor, we can set up a separate account to go towards the sustainability of those particular mailboxes.
but so
I'll let-
Mayor and Council, in order for the city to do this, to collect any new fee, increase any rate, propose a new rate, collect a new tax, change the copy from 10 cents a copy to 25 cents a copy, we need to go through the notice process. We need to post it for 60 days on the website. Got to give the opportunity to have a public hearing, those residents to come forward and voice their opinion. And then after that, you make a vote as to whether or not you want to implement that one-time fee. But there is a process. Mayor mentioned earlier that this was already budgeted and it's sort of like a capital improvement or program that we had. And if that's something that you want to take into balance, and obviously that's your consideration.
Yes, I'm open. I see those both sides, but I'd rather just clean and just start new. But it's up to council.
I think, just what you said before, Mayor, those people bought a house there and I don't think nobody told them that you need to buy, pay for, so you can receive the mail, It's also not their fault that the boxes are, they only have so many. I know I live in that, or not in Valle del Sol 3 and 4, but in that area, and because people are they don't get delivered the mail, then it's free for us, or whoever, I guess. So now we're putting a charge for somebody that can get it for free. So I think this is why some and why some not. So I think, since it's on the CIP and it's just budget for it, just go like a pilot program, this is the first time. So one-time money's there, just do it and then go move from there. Start putting some language in the new subdivisions that are coming and then go from there. But I think just for this one, just to go and make a big deal out of, just for those tenants, I think is, we have to do all this work just for that. I think, like the mayor said, just finish it, get it done. And the new subdivisions just start fresh and start doing what we're supposed to be doing at the beginning. I don't think it's fair to give them charge them right away for something that, was not told at the beginning and, it's not their fault that there's no boxes here. Something that I think.
Would this be optional to the homeowners or would they have to agree to receive their mail there?
Again, that would be, it would be optional because, I mean, you can't make them pay the fee, unless you put it in the policy that if you buy a home there, there's a box there, you need to pay that fee.
So we wouldn't be really forcing them to do it. So
If they don't want to, you could. Yeah, you could encourage them. Or like I said, that you could put something in place where that is just like when you connect your water, when you connect your sewer, there's a fee, you have to do it because it's part of, this would be something similar if you went in this direction.
If I could just add something to that, it would be optional up until there's no more room at the post office. For example, if a new resident that hasn't lived here before comes to Somerton and there's no more room at the post office PO boxes, then they would have that option to have the CBU delivery. So it's a benefit.
One thing that's critical is that if we can add it to the improvement districts, that's something that
That could be
the
accommodated.
maintenance is more the concern.
It could be treated, Mayor, as a part of the improvements to the retention basin for the maintenance, and I think that's definitely doable.
What they call, right?
Yeah.
Right on the next. Well,
Correct.
Ones that are next to
Yeah.
that retention basin.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Somewhere that it's out of the way for anything else, and it's usually the retention basin.
To me, that's just the concern now that, we have finance that's understaffed and trying to collect and trying to,
Mhm.
when it was an unfunded mandate that we impose on the residents, so. Any other? Galindo, thinking.
Mayor, if I may, staff would need just a direction of how you want to, because if we want to process any fees or anything like that, of course, we'd have to have it on the agenda and start moving forward with that, with the notices and things like that. If there is no fee and we move forward and this is an amenity for the residents, then we would start tomorrow giving out keys. So.
Like option, the last option, but that's me.
Show of hands, I guess.
No, it's the direction, right?
It's just
That's
direction,
direction.
yes.
I think so too.
So,
Start tomorrow.
Go ahead.
You know?
Yeah,
all right,
thank you.
thank you.
We'll look at the improvement district.
Yes, we'll get it on there, Mayor.
Thank you.
Old business discussion, possible action to approve contract for professional services for last architect.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This item is a continuation on the item that you approved on the April 4th meeting to enter into a contract with Last Architects and J2 Engineering for the professional services to design the West Somerton Area Master Plan. Mayor and Council, as you're aware, the West Somerton Area Master Plan includes the master planning of the 35 acres that the city owns west of Somerton High School and north of Main Street along the west side of Parkview Avenue. It includes the design and construction documents, bid support for a 3 to 5 acre lake, and also the design and construction documents for a shelter center to be located all on that site. Mayor and Council, staff has been in discussion with Last Architects and J2, and they have prepared two options for your consideration. I have the consultant here also via telephone, but I'm going to try to explain it the best I can without having to rely on him. But if we have to, I'll call on him. Mayor and council, in front of you, I delivered both options that the consultant prepared, option A and option B. Both options would result in a shovel-ready site for the entire thing. The 35 acres, the shelter, the civil plans, the engineering plans for the pond and the lake. The only difference between the two, between option A and option B, is that one results in a shovel-ready 30,000 square foot shelter, and the other one results only in a shovel-ready 10,000 square foot shelter. The cost difference between the two is shown on page 2 of each of the options. So for option A, which is the complete package, the 35 acres, the shelter, full engineering, everything, shovel ready, grand total of $1,692,778. And option B, which is the second option to only have 10,000 square feet of the shelter design, is $1,391,721. So you're looking at about a $300,000 difference between the two. But this, Mayor and Council, let me remind you, this is it. This is the full set of construction plans to leave that site shovel ready for everything that we have discussed up to date. The pond, the shelter, the infrastructure, the utilities, the works.
Salud, and so just to also, there's environmental involved in this, all right?
Yes. Oh, yes. When I say everything, it's environmental, architecture, engineering, civil, structural, electrical, mechanical, and soils testing, materials testing, everything. This is the package. Any questions on the two options?
I just have a comment here. Our budget was, what was it, 1.8 for the whole thing, construction and everything. I think we are
1.7, Mayor.
we knew that it might go up with the conceptual plan and everything, but this is just too much for what I think we were thinking, or we can. I was concerned because it's I think we should be realistic of what we can afford, and it's just for design almost our whole budget. I think that's just we gotta know when to move forward and when not. And something similar happened to our Centennial Park. We had our budget of 300,000. They came back and they gave us there was 200. You're looking at me, it's like 200, 300, but they came out like almost 900, and we were able, like, this is all we want and make it work. So I just, unless we're thinking of going for grants and we have a pretty good idea, but I don't know, just it'd be, yeah, go ahead.
Mayor, I completely agree with you. I started reviewing this, and quite honestly, I had to put it away. This price tag was just stressing me out. It still continues to stress me out. Part of me didn't even want to come to the meeting because I don't want to deal with this particular subject, because the price tag was, I think it's a little too much. I don't think we can handle it at this point in time, especially when we're trying to go through our budget process. We're still trying to figure out some of these revenues that weren't billed from a year or so. So I am genuinely concerned that the price tag is a little high. And also some of this stuff is kind of new to me. You guys might have discussed it on a particular day when I wasn't here. Like new shelter, building, swimming pool, ball fields. Those are all things that we kind of have mentioned, but we never really solidified as a council as a whole, whether we were going to proceed with some of this stuff. So I think it's still a topic of conversation that we have to take on and agree what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. Because again, our budget, like you said, our budget was somewhere around the 1.8. And then this will take up our whole construction budget.
Yeah, and we need a conceptual plan and during that process, I think we're gonna identify what we need there. For when the shelter started, it was just something that could house boxing, house
Right.
even if it was just a metal building, it wasn't so maybe we should just scale it down and the pond, we need to with our agreements for the high school, that needs to be done, but the conceptual plan would be nice, to at least start working, but at least having a building that it'll cost us 1.3 million. That wasn't something that I think council ever envisioned. We envisioned something that we would pay 1.6, 1.7, but that would be with design and
With the building.
construction. Yeah, not for.
And Mayor, this is mentioned that some of the items on the proposals may seem new, but just to remind you, the master plan is currently in the design stages. There will still be a chance for input. So that it wouldn't be something that just staff decided what's going to go in here. There would still be an opportunity for you to comment on what you actually want to see in the end product. However, if I just also want to mention that there will be a chance to recoup some of this money in the future, as the site is a 35-acre parcel, but there has been the plan is to only design the 20-acre site. I don't have that exhibit in front of me, but the possibility is there to perhaps offer the west 15 acres for economic development or residential development. So there is an opportunity to recover some of the money from the sale of that land.
And like Councilman Villalpando said, those are conversations that we still haven't had. But yeah, like I said, a lot of the stuff here, I agree. But it's something I think that we need to come up with a plan before we move forward with this. But at least for me, the conceptual plan, we need it. We're gonna have to, the pond, something that was budgeted. The building was budgeted, but not at that price tag.
So Mayor and Council, on both options, you can see that there's an itemized breakdown here. So for just the master plan itself, the master plan, which would include the lake, the building and everything, but not the building plans for the building itself, that's coming in at around $144,000. And then the lake, the actual engineering plans for the lake are coming in at $247,440. So to combine together, that's about close to $400,000 for the master plan, which we do need, and for the lake plans that we do need as well. Does that sound?
For me, that would sound doable, Saul, but quite honestly, I want to give my input in the beginning, not at the end, not at the middle, because as we all know, some plans get started and they look at us like, well, it's too late. No, I don't want to deal with that. If council's going to be involved, they should be involved from the very get-go, not halfway down the race where everything's pretty much determined.
Thank you for the comment, Councilman Villalpando. Absolutely. I agree. I would like to get everyone as involved as possible, and we'll make sure to ensure your participation availability.
Now, where would the funding for this come out of?
Councilman
is-
Villalpando, it would come out of ARPA funding.
which is part of the 1.7. 1.8.
Yeah, so, yeah, master plan the lake and just a prefab metal building. 100,000, that's
There
it.
you go.
That's all we need.
Mayor, if I may, and we can do that. Yeah, we have last architects on the line, so they've been listening. And so I think this gives them a direction of what mayor and council would like to see and maybe come back with something that you'd be more interested in looking. Like I said, the design and all that, this is just options. Nothing's moving forward. This was just the beginning and working from there with mayor and council, so.
And so for the actual action for the item is, would be to approve a contract for professional services and set a cap on the amount of fees for the engineering and design. So if the council is ready to make a motion tonight, we would need to have a cap established.
And Mayor, if I may, if you're not, then, we can always table it, come back with more information if you'd like.
I think master plan and the lake, we should just,
That would be the cap.
you should delay that, yeah.
Just adding those two, right?
So 400,000 more or less.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mayor, not to exceed the 400,000 only.
A motion by Vice Mayor Roldan,
Second.
second by Councilman Villalpando, those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council.
If we would have billed and collected the prior years.
Moving on to new business, discussion and possible action to approve MOU for bird rights. Councilman Galindo, is it?
No. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Again, we come back to you. This is an item that was tabled. The council wanted a little bit more information. So we reached out to the city of Yuma, which has this same kind of similar agreement, I should say. There is no revenue given to the city of Yuma. Bird, what they require, what the city requires them is that, they follow, of course, all the city policies, regulations with right of way and those type of things. They take out a business license here in the city of Somerton. And like I mentioned previously, I've had a conversation with the two chiefs from PD and fire, and the 6 months that Bird was here, really didn't have any major concerns, major incidents that I'm aware of, unless they want to say something else. But so we would like to try to move forward. Again, they provided some ridership numbers that I provided mayor and council. I think at the end it was if you average it out to like $8 a ride, I think it was like $9,000 that on the revenue their side. That's what they kind of gave us, that information, that each ride was about $8, $7 to $9. So we put it at $8. If you see the ridership, that's what it kind of comes out to. So again, we bring it back to you and with that information and look for your direction.
Any questions or comments? There a motion?
Motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between Bird Rides Incorporation and the City of Somerton to continue the scooter city program in Somerton until December 2024.
A motion by Councilman Galindo,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Roldan, those in favor?
Aye.
And Mayor, apologize. And I just wanted to point out something. There was a clause, exclusivity clause that was taken out as part of the agreement. So just to let you know that that was changed. That was something that was mentioned. We talked to Bird and they were fine with that. So just to let you know.
Thank you.
Item number 2, discussion and possible action to award bid and enter into contract with CEMEX for the amount of $1,143,185.70.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council. Earlier this year, the Public Works Department went through the seal bid process for this particular project, and there were 3 bids submitted. There is an attachment in your staff report where the tabulation and the amounts are for the 3 companies. That one right there. So at this point, we are here tonight with the lowest bidder being CEMEX Construction for the base bid amount of $1,143,185.70. This is the Parkview traffic signal. This is one of the priorities that we have right now. We need to finalize the infrastructure for Parkview so we can continue with the development of those lots. And tonight, we are asking council to award the bid to CEMEX Construction Materials with the base bid amount of $1,143,185.70 for the construction of the new Main Street and Parkview Avenue traffic signal. There is $150,000 in the CIP. This is a CIP item. Obviously, there is not enough for what the bid came to. So the difference, it's we've been talking to finance, and there are monies with the revenues from the land sales that we have already done, and also there's some HERF contingency funds that will give us the ability to finalize this project. Any questions?
Questions or comments?
Mayor, I have a question.
Councilman Villalpando?
Okay, since, is this, this cost is directly related to the commercial sites, right?
Yes.
Are we gonna recoup any of these monies?
I believe so,
it's-
Councilmember Villalpando. Let me double check. I don't have it top of my head, but I believe that because it's part of the infrastructure of the entire Parkview
Correct.
development. My belief is that it's part also of the infrastructure. I will come back with you with that answer.
And also,
confirmation.
the funding, I was reading the agenda and it said enterprise fund.
Yes,
Was that, what enterprise fund are you guys using for?
it's the HERF contingency. That's exactly what I.
Oh,
just-
okay,
just
there
mentioned.
was a
Yes.
HERF.
Yes, at the time I wrote this report, we were
But it-
still working with finance department on where within the enterprise. Enterprise is public works. It will not impact the
Okay.
general
'cause
fund.
See, when you said enterprise fund, I was looking more like at water sewer.
No, 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 no.
And so that's why I
No.
was like, oh, wait a
No.
minute. I
No.
don't want to be like
No.
Brett Favre and.
It will be strictly HERF
Okay.
streets. We're not gonna do. that.
Okay, yeah.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Is there a motion?
So move.
So motion by Councilman Villalpando,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Roldan, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Summer current events.
Mayor, council member, we have Saul, Community Development.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, today we had a very productive pre-development meeting with Sunset Health Clinic for their project on lot number 1 of Parkview subdivision. They will be submitting hopefully this month their full set for review. Just the biggest update from that I received is that they've decided to keep the same square footage of the building. However, it would be on a single-story building. That was the takeaway from this meeting, I guess. So we'll be reviewing that. The second is Circle K. We also had we've been in constant communication with Circle K, so we're trying to get that project started as soon as possible. They will be submitting a conditional use permit application, which is the first zoning entitlement they have to clear before they can proceed. Hopefully, we'll get them on the agenda for June, planning and zoning. And then tomorrow, I will be meeting with Mr. Paul Ward of the YMPO to finalize Somerton's inclusion to the YMPO tip for our Main Street redevelopment project. Just a requirement, we have to get it on there in order to be eligible for certain grants that we're pursuing. So, but we're still very much on track for that. So everything's being taken care of. And lastly, May is Building Safety Month. And I will hopefully be bringing a proclamation to the next meeting for Building Safety Month. And that is all, Mayor.
Javier Hernandez, Chief Hernandez.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So on Thursday, May 4th will be National Firefighters Day. And I just wanted to congratulate all those Somerton Cocopah firefighters on their day and all the firefighters in the nation. Thank you.
Mayor, that's all we have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
I don't have numbers for the last vaccine clinic, but the upcoming one will be May 11th, which is next Thursday. They're still targeting school age kids for their to update their vaccines, but they're still giving out the COVID vaccine if anybody's interested. I also participated, well, listened into the call with Senator Sinema this morning. I don't even want to get into it, but you know, we know that there's going to be issues with Title 42 ending pretty soon. But my biggest, I guess, frustration is that they called Yuma Mayor and Welton Mayor to testify on border issues, and that to me is a little bit concerning, to say the least. But that's all I will comment on that.
And I agree with you. Councilwoman Castillo.
No, I want to go ahead and thank staff and everyone that attended our retreat on Saturday. Thank you for giving up that, your Saturday. I felt it was very productive. Love the presentation, so thank you for that. We're scheduled to have a health committee meeting on Thursday, May the 4th at 4:30. So, and I was also on the call this morning with Senator Sinema. And some of the questions that were asked is how, if we were going to get reimbursed at the local level, with our public safety staff and everything, and all they said was that help was coming, but they weren't really specific. Call lasted about, Zoom meeting was about maybe 30 to 35 minutes, give or take. So other than that, I mean, that's all I have, Mayor.
Councilwoman Delgadillo.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Councilwoman Villalpando.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank
Vice Mayor.
I
Just thank you, the staff that was there on Friday and Saturday. I think it was a good, having, being like that on a bowling and talking and joking and whatever. I think it's not only about work, but sometimes you need to have fun a little bit and make fun of each other and whatever you can. Especially when you got a couple, things are La Chona moves. And then also on Saturday, I think all the presentations that were there, and even the historical society, I think, just learn a little bit about how Somerton started and history about Somerton. I think is we're representing City of Somerton, and I think it's good to know a little bit about that.
and all the presentations from every director, just, it talks good about, it seems like you put passion in your presentations and, thank you for doing that and thank you for preparing, your presentations for us so we can see. And it seems, well, I think after me and Councilman Galindo were left the building, we're talking about, the environment looks, good among, the directors and administrators. So thank you for that. And, we'll do our share so we can, continue helping you guys and do whatever we can on our part. So thank you.
I want to, and I also want to thank staff for taking their time on Saturday for the retreat. Again, and I echo what Vice Mayor said. It was really good. We're working as a team, and that's hopefully we continue. I asked Louis to see if we can budget a retreat. We haven't done and go visit another city and hopefully we can work out the budget for that. I had a meeting with NCHP. They want to start a new veterans suicide prevention program. So we're trying to see how we can accommodate those requests. But that's something that Louis is going to bring to staff and then to council, see what can be done. It's going to be a Yuma County-wide project that they have. And I want to invite, the public to the Battle of the Cheladas this Saturday. The 3 people that are watching us on YouTube, so spread the word. And Councilman Castillo mentioned about reimbursement, and yesterday I placed a call to one of the Senate offices, and they're going to start assisting us. They assisted us last year with the reimbursement, and we haven't requested. And I'm going to ask staff with this situation with Title 42. Unfortunately, it's political. So before we go to those meetings, let's try to, talk to the city manager, because many times they use us for their political reasons. Many times, as Councilwoman Gonzalez mentioned, we're not invited, and it's very, very partisan. So I ask staff to first, before going to those meetings, analyze who's invited and then go, because many times they'll want to hear your sound bites. For example, Somerton's not being reimbursed, but we only had a few calls last month. So it's just around the message. They take that, and I heard it on one of our meetings at GYDC that from one of the other political elected officials here. Oh, Somerton's not getting reimbursed. I'm like, well, you're speaking for Somerton. So yeah, we got to be very careful how the message is being sent. Yes, we're not being reimbursed, but are we being overran by asylum seekers? We're not. So that's something I think that we got to be very careful with. Leave the politics to us politicians, and we got to be careful. So it's 8:10, meeting's adjourned.